And are we gonna go live in YouTube?
Right, either or, it doesn't matter.
Both. I'm gonna do both.
Yeah, it
We'll
just,
see what happens.
you know.
Okay. So let's start, Maria. And this is March. And as we were announcing and telling the people, we're gonna have is the International Woman Day on March 8th. but we're going to take, because I think this is really, really important. And what the International Women's Day this year, 2022, is break the bias. And I don't think that it's going to be with just one day. We're going to start with this month, and every Friday we're going to be talking about it with a different experts. But let's start us talking about what is the bias. What is really the bias? Because for some people it's just a new word. But let's talk what is the mean about to have a bias. What is for you? Give me an example, something that the people can understand and be more friendly and be more solution getting what it is.
Okay, thank you, Monica, and thank you. And before I just get on to honestly answer your question, and which I'll get to in a minute, I just want to take this opportunity to wish all the women around the world in the four corners of the globe, in the six continents, we wish you an amazing March. March is a special month, and not just the day of the 8th, where we celebrate International Women's Day, but as I've always said, every day should be Women's Day. There's need to celebrate you amazing, phenomenal women for the work that you do. Some of us serve, others you're on the front line, and others you're mothers, grandmothers. So there's so many roles that you all take and partake, but they're all important. So women out there, we want to say to you, happy Women's History Month. We celebrate every single woman. That could be the woman out in the field, you're doing well. You could be the mother, you're doing well. You could be the sister, the aunt, and you're standing in the gap, you are doing well. So we want to wish you, from all of us, from Hope for Her Global and all our entities across the globe, a happy International Women's Day. Thank you. And as we look at biases, good question, Monica. What is a bias, you asked? And, these could be preconceived ideas that people hold, their perceptions. It could be over other people in terms of race. It could be gender related. It could be just even from a socio-economic status. It's our preconceived ideas that may not necessarily hold truth. So over and above, it's perceptions that are held. But again, I would like to say they, in most cases, do not hold truth. But again, biases can also be a result that come from our own personal lived experiences, why we then end up with the perceptions that we have over certain issues, over gender. It could be over the subject of race. It's because of our own personal lived experiences. So sometimes the way we see things may not hold water, or that 100% objectivity, because of my lived experience. I'm in tune to think this way over maybe women because of the experiences I've had and shared with women. So that's, in a nutshell, the way I would look at bias.
100%. And I totally agree with you. Now, because the concept is that the bias is just because men's and because women's and because this and that. But as you said, bias is a way of living, it's a mindset. And we together, we can change it. But we cannot change is something that I always say. The only problem that we cannot change is the problem that we don't know that we have. When we don't recognize those bias, we're never going to change it. And time again, we has been seeing that is just that part, to start to recognize that I am a racist, to start to recognize that I has been abused by my partner. Can be a woman, can be a man. So it's recognizing. Give me some examples in the way our listeners can get a better view of what is exactly what we are talking, and how we together can looking for those solutions, and how this month we're gonna be working on this.
Right. And I would like to say, without again being a bit apprehensive to answer the question or not, but in this case, what I'm saying is, when we tackle biases, I don't want us to feel that what Maria's perceptions over the existing biases that I may have over certain elements or subjects are what holds water. We all have to recognize those issues that we find are prevalent within our communities. Are they outstanding or standing issues pertaining to those? For instance, the issue of gender inequality, it's across the board. But our perceptions on the issue of gender parity is different from one environment to another. So those are things that we would want to tackle together, because there's not one solid perception of what is held as a bias of over gender issues or gender parity. What could be viewed as an inequality here in Canada or North America per se could not be seen as inequality elsewhere. It could be something that could be normalized depending on the community, the society that you're coming from. So bringing that into perspective as women, like I've always said, we have talked about it, we have chanted. And like Monica said, it's important for us to recognize what is within. What are those issues that are affecting us as women? What are those fundamental issues that are inhibiting or deterring us to progress as women, whether it's economically, whether it's socially, or even from a health standpoint? What are those barriers? How can we come to an understanding in the collective so that we can come up with solutions to fix our problems? And I want us to understand that it will only take women coming together, recognizing the issues that affect us regionally, nationally, and globally. When we come together in the roundtable discussions, we will come up with solutions that will be able to bring change to our problems. We can no longer have our problems being written and documented on the tables by the powers be. Where the gap is, are the voices of the women are missing. So how will they know what will work for us, whether it's your body, decisions over your body, your health as a woman, decisions over your own career development, the social issues that affect you and I as women? How can those solutions be prescribed to us if we are not going to be part of the conversation? We know biases exist, but it's time to break the biases. And how do we do that? We have to come to the round table. We have to talk about them. We have to identify them, group them, then come up with solutions. How do we change mindsets? How do we change those perceptions? So the responsibility and the onus is on us as women to come together and speak with one voice and address our problems collectively, regardless of the different demographic locations. But it's time for women to start coming together. And one can argue, Monica, and say women are coming together. Absolutely, we are. But we still need to do more. Remember, if we are divided and fragmented in our different spaces, then everything that we are working hard towards becomes this big mountain for us to climb. So in the next 2 weeks or the month of March and beyond, this is just the beginning. The conversations start. We are looking forward to conversating with women from around the globe. How do we look at these biases? Let's address them. What are those biases? And through those roundtable discussions, we'll be able to identify those biases in order of importance. Then we will even come up with frameworks that will have possible solutions before we take our issues to the higher ups in the powers be. So that is the aim of these conversations that we are starting today. So we want women to participate. We would love you to participate. We want to hear your views. We want to hear your thoughts. How do we break the bias? How?
And that is important because some people think that you have to have some qualification. We go into the same bias. You have to have those qualifications. You have to have some position per se, or you have to be in some religion, or you have to do this or that. But every voice we want to hear. We want to listen not only the women that are there. We want to listen the youth. We want to listen the girls. We want to listen the boys. We want to listen the men. Because the solution is not to do more bias. Because the bias is the perception that we have about a race, somebody, because it's what we have been talking. The perception of that I'm a Latina and always are late. And then when you're going to get hired because you are a Latina, they already say, oh, but you are arriving on time. But they have that perception that because you are in this race, you smell like this, or you talk like this. Those are the voices that we want to hear. Every voice is important to looking for to break the bias. It's no Maria, it's no Monica, it's no the Hope for Her Global. Because what we believe here in Hope for Her Global is that we bring hope to women and girls, one woman, one girl at a time. But we cannot do it by ourselves. We believe in the community. We believe in the individuality. We believe in the recognizing that everybody is important. There is a creation that is important and that contribute to the solution. That we can have the conversation, but we want to go further than that and looking for a solution and implement those solutions in the real place.
Monica, you are so right, because like we believe, again, Rome was not built in a day. And whilst others maybe feel overwhelmed that, we've done enough talking, we've mentioned this, and we already know what is so different about what we're going to be doing. The difference is the collective voices. It's when we come together collectively, then we will be able to redefine collectively empowerment, women empowerment, girl empowerment, collectively. We all may have our own definitions of what empowerment is, of what biases are. But until we address this in the collective, then biases will be biases, because we are dealing with the mindset. So there's a lot of work that has to happen within ourselves as women. What are those things that we are seeing as biases? In other instances, they could be trivialized because in other communities, they could be normalized. So they may not be of importance. Someone may say there are bigger issues to worry about besides race, but race plays a big role. Systemic discrimination against women plays a big role. I'm a Black African woman, proudly African. I'll give you an example. But being in the diaspora has taught me that my name is not necessarily my birth name. I'm identified as an immigrant woman. Immigrant woman. That is the first label. I may sound like I have an accent. Next, my accent is realized or recognized. And then there are the assumptions that because I have dreadlocks, I must be Caribbean, or I naturally come from Haiti. Perception, which is a misconception. And ideally, again, oh, you're from Africa. Africa must be a country. Yet Africa is a continent. But what's the assumption? What are the perceptions when it comes to Africans? Oh, we probably live on trees. We don't speak English. Those are all preconceived ideas and ideologies about Africans, who we are. Those are misconceptions about what is labeled Maria, this Maria that you see before you. All these labels are put before you even get to know who Maria is. So by the time Maria has to remove those labels and gets to say, my name is Maria Magdalena Mbanga Mashimavi. Difficult as my last name is, but that is my given name. Again, we tune out. The only information you're going to hold is, oh, her name is Maria. Then you get the question, what is your real name? The last time I checked, when my mom gave me a name, I'm sure they named me Maria. But it's assumed that I'm an immigrant woman from Africa. My name cannot be an English name. So already these preconceived ideas of what makes Maria holds a lot against me, even if I'm searching and looking for a job. There's no care to take into account what Maria brings to the table. And those are some of the biases that then are taken across the globe. As women, when we talk of empowerment, when we talk of feminism, the definition of self of feminism is diluted because of those biases that exist. There's elitist feminism. And then we've got feminism, depending which part of the world you're coming from. That goes again, it transcends to the seats at the table. Regardless that my African sisters will bring so much to the table and contribute and make effective contributions, they are left out of the conversation. We are left out of the conversation because of our demographic location. So those are some of the biases that we need to cut out. That when we define feminism, when we define empowerment of women, we have to look at it from a global standpoint. And we cannot say, this is the way we see women emancipation, and this is the way it should be viewed for African women. This is the way it should be viewed for Latino women. Because equally, you have experts in Latin America. You have experts in Africa, India, Asia, you name it. So it's a challenge that we give to the powers be, even the women that are leading these organizations, to take a look and remove the biases themselves. Like I said, until we address those biases as women collectively, then we still have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go. but it only starts with the first step, coming together to have a conversation.
So talking about coming together, let's invite our viewers for what we have planned for this month.
Okay, for starting on the 11th, our very first roundtable discussion starts. So we are definitely looking forward to it. We've got a great panel. It's going to be mixed. It's going to be both men and women. And we've got girls as well in the conversation. So on the 11th of March, we have our very first roundtable discussion on breaking the biases. And all voices matter. What is their view from the man's perspective? What is the view from the girl's perspective? Remember, we cannot leave the girls out of this discussion. They are the future. They are the future women of tomorrow. Every fight that we are doing right now is to create a legacy for these young girls. Then on the 18th, the 18th is really special for me. And, Mamacita, you're used to me. I never can do away with my African roots. On the 18th, it's a very special, special day because we have a lot of representation from Africa. A lot. Their voices matter. Our voices as African women matter. We want you to share the experiences of the African woman as you hear it from their mouths, from their own words, their own narratives. What is it that they define as biases that have affected or impeded their own progress? And we don't leave it there. We will have our Latino sisters, Latina brothers. They're going to be in the house. So we will take the voices from Colombia, South America. We will be having those voices. So on the 18th, it's what we are going to call an a la carte. We have it. We have representation of the voices from around the globe. How do we solve this problem that we can see that's been looming over time? It's been there for a long time. These have been in existence forever. But what's our first step? What is going to be our first step together in the collective? So we look forward to serving you this month. And we're just excited. We are totally excited. So that's what we have for them. A month full of firsts, but lots of conversations, capturing of the voices.
So again, I'm going to give our viewers and our listeners more information, which is the March 11, which is going to be next Friday. It's going to be at 11:15 p.m. a.m. Mountain Time, 12:15 Central Time, and 1:15 Eastern Time. Same time that is going to be Colombia, and it's going to be 8:15 p.m. African time, or CAT time that we call. On the 18th, because we want to arrive to the Africa and more European and all of that. So we're gonna start early here. So it's gonna be at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. This is gonna be on the 18th. 9 a.m. in the Central Time, 10 a.m. in the Eastern Time, is same than Colombia, and 5 p.m. in Africa and the European countries. It's going to be a little more comfortable in that time, not that late like is the other ones. We want to hear from you. We will keep giving you information, but we need each one of you, all the voices we want to hear, and we want to work together. It doesn't have to be a public that you're gonna work, but you have a kids, you have friends, and you can see what it is in those friends. You have to detect on them and see on them what is going on and what kind of words that you can give to them. The solution is in each of one of us. We need to act now. We need to start to empower our friends. We need to have a different legacy for our kids. It can be a girl, so it can be a boy. But in the same, we as a mother, we as a father, so or the fathers and the mothers and whomever it is influencer, the teachers, we are an influencers. Can be one, but that one is important because each life is important. And that is the message that we have in Hope for Her. It's one woman, one girl at a time. It's not the war. And we all can work together. So that is it, what we have for today. Do you want to say something else, Maria?
I just want to wish the ladies, I know this weekend out in Edmonton, there's a lot of activities going on to celebrate women. And I just want to say to all you amazing, phenomenal women that are working so hard, that are hustling every single day to make it happen. We celebrate you at Hope for Her Global. We do. And we want to give enough shout outs because Monica, they always say charity begins at home. So to all the leaders, the community leaders in Edmonton that are celebrating women, we say to you, well done for recognizing women as special, as influential, and has individuals that contribute to the betterment of the economy and the environment itself. So we want to say thank you to BCW. We want to say thank you to Women Talk Africa, or When African Women Talk. They had a great event last week. So again, bringing women together, that's the joy. And this weekend, BCW, we got news, your event is sold out. Monica was about to come because Monica said, Maria, she had to ask me, is it all just for Black women? I said, as long as you're a woman, you should be invited. So it's just to say, to shout out to all these women that are doing great things, amazing women that we have worked with. We want to celebrate them too. And we will name you. If we have left you out, it's not because we don't love you, but Monica and I are going to play a little bit of a game in 2 minutes where we're just going to be randomly saying, shout out to the women that we have worked with and that have supported us at Hope for Her Global. We will start off, and this is a game, just a way to say thank you. So I will start by saying thank you to my own mother. She's late, for inspiring me to do the work that I love to do. And I'll give shouts out to my own sisters in their numbers. I thank you for always standing by. To my extended sisters, I thank you. Then I'll shout out to Carolyn, all the way from Abuja, Carolyn Simon. Did you know she's hosting the International Women Festival, first ever in Africa? So shout out to Carolyn Simon and Girls Voices. We celebrate you and the amazing work that you do. Next, Monica, you bring on the next organization.
Yeah, we want to celebrate, obviously, our mothers, our sisters, our teachers. I think teachers is a big influence, and we want to get to them. We celebrate all the Colombian women that has been living in a difficult time. All the leaders in La Dorada, in Bogota, in Suba, all the leaders in the south, in Cali, in Medellin, and we cannot forget the leaders that are working in the coast of Colombia. We have been working with them, and we appreciate each one of you, even that we are here and we don't know how hard is there sometimes, but we continue to working from here and supporting you and admire you for the work that you do, sometimes without the funds that you needed, but you do it and you achieve to have those projects done. So it's amazing what community it is done.
Wow, Sister Monica, you just said something so profound, the community. And that's why we're taking this moment to celebrate the women communities. Just like I said yesterday, I attended an event online that was hosted by World Pulse. Another great community for women. And we just want to shout out to World Pulse. with over 70,000 women on your belt. And the change that you're bringing digitally, making impossible possible, and honoring the women that are doing it. So shout out to World Pulse. You are really rocking, and we want to celebrate you. We want to celebrate our Canadian women-led organizations that take care of women in Canada. Home is best. And I want to shout out personally to all the African women-led organizations that are in Africa, different parts of Africa, whether you're on the west, north, east, and south. I believe the time is now. And I celebrate you, all my African sisters, for the amazing work that you're doing. Continue to soar. Without that, Monica, we also want to say well done to our girls. We have so many girls that said yes to the call that will be participating. We are doing this for you. We want you to celebrate and uplift each other. And this is the seed that we're sowing. We want you to lead, to become leaders. And who better to show you? None other than ourselves as women. We can only show you, you can only emulate what you see. So ladies, 263 North, kudos to you. That's another growing group that is doing extremely wonderful, great stuff around North America and beyond. And we're talking international. Kudos to you, my sisters at 263 North, for believing you have arrived. You have arrived. If North America didn't know, yes, 263 under the leadership of Sharon Jobo, there's Nkomo Brown. You ladies have led, and we want to celebrate you today. And Lindsay, thank you, my sister, for always standing in the gap. And we cannot forget our very own sisters, Women in Bloom, Canada. It's been a great ride, and we hope for even more in the future under the leadership of Blair Brown and her team, Daphne, and all you amazing women that we have met along the way. Keep on soaring, keep on flying the flag. And of course, we cannot go on without mentioning our African sisters like Loretta. She's been with us all the way. She's been with us all the way. Loretta, thank you, my sister. Thank you for the amazing job. And we cannot also leave out Rita Babagello, all the way from Australia. Deborah, we miss you. We know you're always supporting us, and you've been there with us throughout. Rita, if we could give a prize for our number one supporter, Monica, who do you think? I think Rita would get the cup. Wouldn't you think so? But we've met a lot of women. Christina, our sisters from Kenya, Linda Banja, we love you and appreciate the work that you do for Hope for Her. Our sisters in Zambia, our sisters in South Africa, in Colombia. I want you to name the Colombian ladies. I want to give special shouts out to them. They've been with us from day one. Day one.
Yes. Adelina, we have Cecilia, we have Anna, we have recently can come to our board, Karin, and it's so many people that is behind the cameras. But Maria, right now I want us to join by her, the women that are in Ukraine. I know that they're going to come here. A lot of them, they're going to come here, and we are preparing our hearts and all our resources to be with them. Pray for them. This is a strong country. Ukraine and Ukrainian women has been really affected. The girls, the youth population. But right now, we don't have a footprints there. But we want to if you hear this message, we are with you. And whatever you need here in Canada and US, or whatever of the footprints that we have, just contact us and we'll see, and we do all what we can do to support you and to start working in education, start to working in your how you're gonna be here, to start to stop the bias of all of this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Our hearts and prayers are with the Ukrainian people, women, families, men and boys, humanity. We are with you in prayer, and we can only hope, hold strong, keep the hope alive, because hope is all you have.
Yes.
So that is it from Monica and I. Amazing women and girls, men, gentlemen, boys, if you're listening in, we thank you for spending this time with us. We look forward to seeing you all on the 11th. Make a date, save the date, the 11th and 18th. Or please find us, send us a note, a message. Tell us what your views are. What are those biases that you know that exists within your community, your region, your country? Come up with solutions, possible solutions.
Your
Remember, your
opinion.
voice matters.
Yes.
Your voice matters. So we'd like to say it from us, from Hope for Her Global. Thank you for taking the time to listen in. We look forward to serving you. One girl, one woman, one community at a time.
That's it. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.